It appears that MoveOn.org is going to also weigh in on Iraq.
Yeah, we just got this in. This is exclusive. It's the first time you'll see it. An ad from MoveOn.org attacking John McCain on the war.
Hi, John McCain. This is Alex, and he's my first. So far, his talents include trying any new food and chasing after our dog. That and making my heart pound every time I look at him. So, John McCain, when you say you would stay in Iraq for 100 years, were you counting on Alex? Because if you were, you can't have him.
Over 3 million members of MoveOn.org Political Action are responsible for the content of this ad.
John Ridley, you know a little bit about public relations. Is that a good ad?
I don't think it's a good ad. It's certainly a powerful ad. Well, it actually starts as more like a Dove ad for like Dove soap. Where it starts, yeah, kind of nice, kind of pleasant, and then it takes sort of a sharp turn. And I have other issues with it. It's sort of flat. It looks like it was done on like a iTunes camera, one of those iChat cameras. Well, my problem is, if you're going to do this ad, it was funny because they showed the Daisy ad, and I mean this seriously for a second. There are little subtle things. There's a little push in on the girl at the beginning. You know, there's little cinematic touches where it says, this goes beyond just being a cheap knockoff ad. Now, people may say, look, that doesn't really matter or whatever, but if you're really going to be effective, I need to see something that's going to emote me more than momentarily saying, you can't have my kid 100 years from now. So, I mean, again, talk about subtlety and talk about not sounding, and I don't quite want to use this word because I don't want to sound sexist, but shrill. And the ad does feel in some ways shrill, as opposed to touching me as a father and reminding me of my kids.
Mika?
Well, I'm just wondering what you think about the use of the 100-year, because I just feel like at this point it looks like a cheap shot. That line has been almost practically revoked by John McCain, or at least clarified.
Well, and even Frank Rich, you know, a guy we love having on, who has been critical of John McCain and George Bush's position on the war, says that that's a cheap shot. That being said, if you say things like that, it's going to come back, and and you're going to hear it time and time again in the campaign.
But I actually think voters are smart enough to be like, they're using that line again, you know?
Yeah. Like, Willie, what do you think of that? Think it's a fair ad?
It might be fair. It might be effective. I just oppose dangling babies in front of cameras to, you know, to,
But it really does. Yeah, I guess that's the biggest problem. It reminds me of the end of The Dead Zone, which was I thought a great Stephen King book. But at the end, Martin Sheen, the deranged presidential candidate, lifts a baby to shield himself from an assassin's bullet. And I think lifting a baby and putting it in front of the face to elect somebody in any political race is probably going to backfire. But what do I know? Let's go right.
Someone you might know.
Let's go right now to NBC News political director and editor of MSNBC.com's First Read, Chuck Todd. Chuck, it has begun. The war of these independent groups. Doesn't really matter what McCain and Obama say about how what a high-minded campaign they're going to run. It's going to get down in the mud pretty quickly with these independent groups, isn't it?
It is. I mean, move on. That was. Look, I think it was a borderline shameless ad, using a baby like that. It just seemed like a sledgehammer on the message that I guess they were trying to send. So stuff like that, that's an ad that strikes me as one that's going to backfire a lot, not a little.